Yo, what's up guys? So today's video is a Q&A. So on Instagram a few days ago, I asked you guys to ask as many questions as you would like. Right now I'm at a park near Phoenix, Arizona. It's a beautiful day out. It gets to be a little bit over 100 degrees midday, so it's the morning. Wanted to get out here before it got too hot. So we're just gonna go ahead, take a walk around the park, and I'll answer as many as I can. There's a lot of really good ones, a lot of ones I think that will help you guys out. So, but before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and take a ginger shot. I'm like 95% physically right now, coming off a cold. I'm almost over at 100%, but I feel pretty good. Cheers. All right, let's head outside. I think a big reason that a lot of you guys ask so many fitness related questions is probably not only because you think I'm very passionate about fitness, which obviously I am, but I'm also at least, 10 years older than a lot of you guys. And you guys got to realize, like, yeah, I might be your big brother or like a father figure. I have a life outside of fitness, and I try to live the most balanced life I can. So in the next Q&A, I'm sure we'll do another one. You guys can ask questions outside of fitness if you would like as well. But obviously I'm here to help, and this is a fitness channel anyway. So yeah, all right. We'll walk up that way actually. So the first question is, do I wish I would have started working out earlier? Well, there's like a two-part answer to this question. So first off, I started working out for two reasons, right? Number one was my high school basketball coach told me that I was too skinny and I needed to put on muscle. So that was motivating because I was very passionate about basketball at the time. And two, I had a buddy in my science class that used to punch me in the arm all the time and tell me I needed to toughen up and get stronger. Dude, those were some brutal blows I was taking in science class. So I was getting picked on for being really skinny at the time. And that motivated me to get going. But, I was pretty young already, so I don't really regret that part. The only thing I do regret is I didn't eat enough food. Like, I was mindful on eating like protein shakes after my workout and stuff. I didn't fully commit to an effective meal plan until about 6 years ago. So the first, 6 years or so of lifting, I didn't eat enough food. I didn't get enough nutrients in my body. So that's the only thing I regret, is I wish I would have started on that right off the bat. Question number two is, how do you deal with body dysmorphia? And anyone who focuses on building their body, improving their physique, at least in my experience, you're gonna deal with body dysmorphia on occasion. And the way I deal with that, and what really helps for me, is looking back at old photos and comparing what you looked like then to what you look like now. And then in your head, you kind of get the feels of all the dedication and effort you put in towards your goals and how much it's actually paid off. So comparing your past self to your current self really puts in perspective that, you look good, or you are improving, you're doing awesome. So that works for me. Question number three is, have I ever smoked? And a lot of you guys that follow me closely on TikTok would probably assume I do. And that's because I used to always wear that weed mask. By the way, Jed North Clothing, 15% off, use code RIPTER. But yeah, right here, blooping it up right here, I had made a lot of TikToks with that mask, and I just like the design. And at the end of the day, I don't really care what people think about me. So I would imagine when people saw that, they assume that I smoke a lot, but I just like the design. So no, I actually never have smoked cigarettes or weed, but like I said, I'm very open-minded. I don't judge others on stuff like that. But I have drank, and I'll drink socially a lot less than I used to, that's for sure. But I still enjoy a drink here and there. Question number four is, when trying to lose weight, is it okay to have protein shakes as a meal replacement? And the answer to that question is, yeah, sure, it's fine. The one thing you got to keep in mind is that a protein shake is oftentimes 120 calories. That's what like one scoop is for most protein powders, which, by the way, my favorite protein powder is Isoject from EVOGEN. It's delicious. They have the best flavors ever. My favorite is the mint chocolate chip or the vanilla brew coffee. Those two are awesome. S'mores is really good as well. But anyways, that's fine, but I would also focus on trying to complete that meal a little bit. Add an apple, add a little bit of almonds, something like that to make it an actual meal, because 120 calories is, I don't care who you are, that's not enough food. try to get it to like 200 or 300 with healthy foods that balance out. So I would pick a fast digesting carb or some kind of like healthy fat that's under 100 calories to balance out that meal and to keep your macros nice and balanced. Question number 5 is, what is the number one tip you would give someone who just started training? And honestly, I could give you a lot of tips, but if I was gonna simplify it to just one, I would just say master the basics. You know, focusing on proper form and doing the exercise correctly is so much more important than trying to lift heavy when you don't even really know how to train properly just yet. So master the basics, train right, and then start progressively lifting heavier after you got the basics down for a couple weeks, couple months, etc. So basics, just keep it simple. Question number 6 is, how do you recommend strengthening weak spots in a physique? And I would say focusing on training them multiple times a week. So for example, let's say that you're used to doing a bro split, which is training everything once a week, but you know, your back is a weak point. I would recommend training back twice a week or even 2.5 times a week, but make sure that there's, you know, a couple days in between so your body can rest and recover. So I would just say up the frequency. Question number 7 is a great question. This person asks, how do you overcome guilt and regret? And you know, inevitably we're going to make mistakes in life. So the understanding and the realization that that's going to happen is important. But the one thing you can't do is you can't control the past. All you can do is learn from it. So if you're guilty or you regret something, all you can control now is the present and future. So just understanding that we're human, that we are born sinners, but obviously the goal is to sin as least as possible. That's the key. So just learn from your mistakes and just move forward. Understand that, you know, today is a new day, tomorrow's a new day, and that you have control over those moments. And once you do that, you should be good. You should become much more happy because, you know, it's always very fulfilling to learn from your mistakes and be a better person. Self-improvement is a very fulfilling thing, guys. So just focus on that and don't beat your head up too much about the past because you can't control it. Question number 8 is, why is deadlifting banned in some gyms? Well, the only thing I can think of really is like a Planet Fitness. The whole goal there is to not intimidate beginners. And I would imagine that lifting heavy is intimidating in their opinion to them. So I think they're just catering to beginners. Question number 9 is, how have I managed to keep my hair? This person asking this question is in her mid-20s, and a lot of guys start really losing their hair quite a bit in the mid-20s. But a lot of it is genetic. My dad, my uncle, and my grandpa, their hair definitely thinned out as they got older, but they didn't completely lose it. And I'll boop up a picture right here, but in high school I had a full-on afro. Yeah, a lot of it's genetic, and I haven't really grown out my hair in a long time. So you guys see me with pretty short hair all the time. I'm always pretty clean cut. But this fall, actually, I was thinking about growing it out. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to grow it out. It's 100 degrees now, so I'm gonna keep it short for the summer in Arizona. But in the fall, I'm definitely willing to do that. Kind of like a Clark Kent look, maybe. So drop it in the comments. Do you guys want my hair long or short? What do you guys think? Question number 10 is, how do you start progressive overload? And this person feels weak when they start lifting heavier. You shouldn't just automatically overloading and lift heavy. You need to control the weight, you need to master a certain weight, and then once that weight becomes easier, then that's a good time to start progressively overloading and going heavier. So if you start lifting heavy without controlling it and you feel like really weak and you can't control the weight, then that's definitely called ego lifting, and you don't want to do that. That's how you get injured, and that's how you don't actually get stronger. You don't get stronger until you control the weight prior, and then you just kind of push it a little bit. You just want to push your limits within reason to where you can actually still control the muscle and challenge your body. You should feel strong when you're progressive overloading, not weak. Question number 11 is, at what age did you start taking pre-workout and creatine? Now, the labels on both are going to say you must be 18 and older. That's what they recommend. Now, me and my personal experience, I started taking both at the end of high school, and technically I wasn't quite 18, but I'm just gonna tell you, for my personal experience, I had no issues. I'm not gonna go on the record and tell you that you should be taking either one of these under 18, but what I will say is I had no issue. One thing you also can consider is that you can get creatine from food. and you can get your energy from food as well. So pre-workout and creatine are not mandatory. They're not like super important. You can do without either one of them. So question number 12 is a good one. This person asks what to look for in a pre-workout. What are some things to avoid and what are some good things to look for? First thing I would look at is the caffeine. If it has 300 milligrams of caffeine or more, that's way too much. You don't need that much. In fact, once you hit a certain amount of caffeine, which is around 300, you're gonna have reverse effects of your pump. You're gonna actually restrict blood flow, so that's not good. You want something around 150 to 200 milligrams of caffeine. Also, beta-alanine, L-citrulline, creatine, all important things to have in a good pre-workout. You want to avoid cheap filler products like citrulline malate. One thing I really like about EVOGEN, which is the pre-workout that I take, is it has pink Himalayan salt. Not a lot of pre-workouts have that. Pink Himalayan salt increases your pump. So if you want to try EVOGEN, it tastes really good as well. EVOGEN Extreme EVP, there's the link right there. Question number 13 is, what is the purpose of high and low carb days? Now, first and foremost, weight loss and weight gain at the end of the day has to do with the amount of calories, not high and low carb days. However, I personally take low carb days on my rest days. There's no need to have high carb days on a day where you're completely resting, as a general statement. Now, if you're deep in a cut, you may want to lower your calories and lower your carbs just because you want to keep your protein high to preserve muscle mass. So that's when you would implement more of the low carb, high carb days, okay? But yeah, even when I'm bulking in my off season, I will have a little bit lower carbs and a little bit less calories on my rest days as opposed to my training days, just because I don't need them necessarily. So honestly, you don't need to do high and low carb days. They're just a tool, an option for someone for their meal plan. Question number 14 I get asked every day, and this person wants to know, should I cut or should I take advantage of puberty and bulk? And the answer to that question depends on your body fat percentage. If you're over 20% body fat, then yeah, you want to lose some weight, you want to cut. But if you're skinny, you're even like 14, 13% body fat, no question, you should focus on building muscle, focusing on all the basics to build you that solid foundation through puberty. No question about it. This question is, what's my favorite muscle group to train? And I would say it always has to do with whatever my weakest muscle is. I love a challenge. So right now I'm focused on building a bigger V taper, a bigger back. So back is my favorite. This next question is, what are some goals for your platform? And I already make a living through social media and coaching, but I would like to make some income through YouTube. The only way to do that is by growing a following. So if you guys are enjoying this video and you enjoy my content, please subscribe. It really helps a lot and it's free. But the only way we do that is by growing a following, and I'm not really focused necessarily on the amount of followers I have on any of the platforms. Obviously the goal though is to impact as many lives as possible and to, do something I enjoy, another thing I enjoy, which is make videos on YouTube. Since I started bodybuilding, which year was the most enjoyable? Well, I am enjoying it more and more every year, which is pretty cool, but the most successful year I've had was probably 2017, because that's when I won the overall for my show, and then in my other show, I got second place in a big class of 15 people. So both were enjoyable in different ways. I didn't really love the process yet in 2017, but now I love it. So right there, that proves that as the years have went on, I've enjoyed it more and more. This next question is specific to the person, but they're able to lift 20 pounds, but they feel a popping. Should they go down in weight? And the answer to that question is probably. When you feel a physical popping, that's your body telling you something. That's a signal. So for example, if you were doing side lateral raises and your shoulder was popping, that might be a sign to go down in weight a little bit or to re-engage your body. Now, if you were able to do the weight, but it was like just a fatigue because you were out of shape, well then maybe then you might want to just push yourself. But in general, yeah, if your body's telling you something like you're physically popping, then it's time to, re-examine the situation and change something. So yeah, lower the weight. If you had to put as much time into a new hobby as you do bodybuilding, what would it be? that's a pretty easy answer for me, but I don't know if it's necessarily a new hobby, but one hobby I like that not very many people know about me is I'm a poker player. I love Texas Hold'em. I love the psychology and the thought process that goes into playing that game, because it's actually a game of skill more than it is luck long term, especially if you're actually very good at it. So yeah, I already do that, but if I could put more time into that hobby, I would. I just don't have a whole lot of time, but I love it. And I've actually went to the World Series of Poker, and I've had some success in some events there. So yeah, pretty cool hobby, and it's a lot of fun. And this last question is, how did I learn to open up to everyone on social media? Well, I didn't really learn how to do that. I kind of just became myself. Like, if I'm going to do something for a living, I better be able to be myself. I mean, imagine working where you couldn't be yourself at work or do something that you did not enjoy. I do not enjoy putting on a mask. I could not imagine faking it till you make it and pretending to be someone you're not, because at the end of the day, if you can't be yourself, you're just gonna play yourself. So I like to be open and transparent to people, you know, because I think people live in a fantasy land, and everyone on social media acts like their life is perfect when it's just not. You know, my life is good oftentimes, and I'm going to be positive almost all the time, but occasionally I'm going to go ahead and share other layers of me, because that's how people are going to actually be impacted and benefit. So to me, it's a no-brainer. I didn't really learn this. I mean, over time, I got more comfortable with myself through maturity and through years, but it wasn't a learned behavior where I tried to study how to be someone I'm not. I'm just me. So, all right, guys, so it's almost 11 o'clock now. That video took a lot longer because the wind, I was waiting around, waiting to videotape when the wind wasn't so violent. So it just took so much longer. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed this Q&A and you learned something, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. It helps me out so much, and I really appreciate it. Also, let me know what you think about the Q&A. We should probably do one again pretty soon. I think these are very valuable to you guys. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today. Peace.